The diner was quiet until it wasn't. For men walked in like they owned the place. Camille Laurent knew the type: noise first, damage later. Nobody helped. Nobody ever does. Then the door opened again, and everything recalculated. But not yet. Not at first. At first, it was small things. The kind of small things people pretend not to notice because noticing means responsibility, and responsibility is heavy in places like this. A fork paused halfway to a mouth. A coffee cup touched down a little too carefully. A chair leg scraped, then didn't move again. The air changed before the voices did. Camille felt it the way you feel a storm before the rain: pressure, thick and quiet, pressing against your ribs. She didn't look at them right away. Looking too soon made it real. Made it yours. So she kept wiping the counter. Slow. Even. Controlled. Her reflection in the chrome edge of the napkin holder told her enough. Boots. Broad shoulders. Loose posture that wasn't loose at all. The kind of loose that came from knowing nobody in the room was going to stop you. One of them laughed. Too loud. Too sharp. It cut through the diner like broken glass. Camille's hand didn't stop moving, but her grip on the rag tightened just enough to hurt. Good. Pain meant focus. Focus meant control. Don't rush. Don't react. Don't give them anything. Because men like that didn't just want attention. They fed on it. Behind her, a plate clinked softly against the counter. Someone shifting. Someone thinking about standing up. They didn't. They never do. And Camille knew, with a quiet certainty that settled deep in her chest, that whatever was about to happen, she was going to be in it alone. The bell hadn't stopped echoing when they spread out. Not together. That was the first tell. Men who moved like a pack usually stayed tight. These didn't. They drifted, one toward the booths, one toward the counter, one lingering near the door like he was keeping it open for something that hadn't arrived yet. And the last one. He watched. Tyler Boone took the lead without asking for it. He didn't have to. The others adjusted around him automatically, like they'd done it 100 times before. Place looks dead, Boone said, voice loud enough to own the room. Nobody answered. That didn't bother him. It encouraged him. Mason Pike slid into a booth sideways, boots up, knocking the menu stand over without even glancing at it. He grinned like it was funny. It wasn't. The sound of plastic hitting tile felt louder than it should have. Still, no one moved. Camille stepped forward. Not fast. Never fast. What can I get you? She asked. Neutral tone. No edge. No invitation. Boone looked at her like he was deciding something. Then he smiled. Wrong kind of smile. You can start by sitting down. A beat. Camille didn't. I'm working. Pike laughed. Short. Mean. From the corner, Caleb Ross said nothing, but his eyes stayed on her. Steady. Measuring. That was worse. Boone leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice dropping just enough to feel personal. I don't think you heard me. Camille held his gaze. I did. Another beat. The diner felt smaller now. Tighter. Like the walls had moved in a few inches without anyone noticing. Behind the counter, Rick shifted his weight. In the corner, Walter looked down at his coffee. No one stepped in. No one ever does. Boone's smile faded. And just like that, the game changed. The shift was instant. Tyler Boone stood up slow, but the energy snapped tight around him, like a wire pulled too far. You think you're better than me? He asked. Camille didn't move. No, she said. I just know what you are. That did it. The first grab came fast, her wrist, hard enough to sting. The second, her shoulder, pulling her closer like she belonged there. Camille twisted, sharp, controlled. Not panic. Never panic. Behind her, a chair scraped. Rick Halper stepped out from behind the counter. That's enough. For a second, just a second, it looked like it might stop there. Then Mason Pike moved. Fast. Rick hit the floor before the words finished leaving his mouth. The sound cracked through the diner, loud, final. Everything broke after that. A shove. A stumble. The wall catching Camille harder than it should have. Pain flashed, sharp, bright, but she stayed upright. Stayed aware. Because awareness was survival. Because losing control meant losing everything. Somewhere behind Boone, Caleb Ross still hadn't moved. Hadn't said a word. He was just watching. And that was the worst part. Because the loud ones hurt you. But the quiet ones decided how far it went. The bell rang again. Soft. Almost polite. It shouldn't have mattered. It did. At first, no one reacted. Not Boone. Not Pike. Not even Rick on the floor trying to breathe through the pain. Only Caleb Ross noticed. His head turned, sharp, precise. And then he stilled. That was the second tell. Camille saw it. Felt it. The shift before the storm breaks. Someone else had entered the room. Someone who didn't belong to the chaos. The door eased shut behind him. No rush. No noise. Just presence. Julian Frost stood there like he had all the time in the world. Dark coat. Still posture. Eyes that didn't react to anything. Not the broken chair, not Rick bleeding, not Boone's hand still gripping Camille's arm. He didn't interrupt. He observed. One step forward. Measured. Deliberate. The kind of movement that didn't ask for attention. It took it. Boone scoffed, still holding on. You lost, man. Julian didn't answer. Didn't even look at him. His gaze moved across the room like he was taking inventory. Damage. Positions. Intent. Then it landed on Camille. And stayed. Not soft. Not shocked. Assessing. Like she mattered for a reason nobody else understood yet. Behind Boone, Ross took a small step back. Almost invisible. But it said everything. The room hadn't calmed. It had changed owners. Silence didn't return. It settled. Different. Heavier. Julian Frost watched the door close behind them. Listened to the last scrape of boots fade into the night. Then he turned back. Slow. Measured. Camille was still on her feet. Barely. Blood at her lip. One eye swelling. Breathing shallow but controlled. Still present. That mattered. Julian stepped closer, but not too close. Look at me. She did. It took effort. You're still here, he said. Good. Her voice came out rough. Why did they? They didn't come for a fight. A pause. They came for you. That didn't land. Not yet. Camille blinked, trying to force the room into focus. That doesn't make sense. It will. Julian's gaze didn't leave hers. Think. He didn't explain. Didn't rush it. Because people trusted what they remembered more than what they were told. And then. It hit. Rain. A parking lot. Headlights cutting through water. A black car. A briefcase changing hands. A man turning. Looking straight at her. Camille's breath caught. Her balance shifted. Julian saw it. You remember? Not a question. She nodded once. Small. Unsteady. Oh God. Julian's expression didn't change. But something behind it sharpened. Then we have a problem. Not panic. Not fear. Something worse. Certainty. The room held its breath. Tyler Boone didn't let go of Camille. Not yet. Men like him didn't release control, they had it taken. You got a problem? Boone said, louder now, forcing it. Julian Frost didn't raise his voice. 30 seconds. Boone blinked. What? To explain why I'm here. A beat. Mason Pike laughed, too quick, too sharp. You serious? No answer. Julian didn't move. But someone behind him did. Marcus Vale crossed the distance like it was already measured. Pike, down. Face first into the table. A crack. Silence. Ross moved for his jacket. Too slow. Marcus caught the wrist, turned, clean, efficient. Something snapped. A gun hit the floor. Now Boone looked. Really looked. And saw it. Not a man walking in. A system. Positions covered. Angles owned. Exit gone. His grip on Camille loosened. Just enough. Julian stepped closer. Quiet. You touched the wrong variable. Boone swallowed. It was nothing. Julian glanced at Camille. Blood. Bruise. Still standing. Does that look like nothing? Boone didn't answer. He couldn't. Julian turned slightly. Take them outside. No shouting. No threat. Just instruction. And like that. The power in the room changed hands. The night swallowed the diner the second they stepped outside. Cold air. Empty road. No witnesses. Camille Laurent felt it immediately, the shift from noise to silence, from chaos to something far more dangerous. Control. A black car idled at the edge of the lot. Engine low. Lights dim. Waiting. Of course it was. Nothing about this felt accidental anymore. Behind her, the diner door closed. Soft. Final. Camille didn't turn back. She didn't need to. Everything she was, everything she had, was still inside that building. And it wasn't coming with her. Julian Frost opened the rear door. Didn't touch her. Didn't rush her. Just waited. Like the decision had already been made. Camille stepped forward. Each step felt heavier than the last. Not from pain. From understanding. She got in. The door shut. Quiet. Sealed. The car pulled away from the diner like it had never been there. Like none of it had happened. But somewhere. Far beyond that empty road. Adrienne Locke already knew. Already remembered her face. And this. This wasn't escape. It was exposure. Because tonight. She stopped being invisible. And people like him? They don't ignore witnesses. They erase them. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. Subscribe so you never miss a story and drop a comment telling us where in the world you're listening.